What's up, cool people? I'm Matt Conroy. Welcome back to my vlog. And now that the election's over, I have some thoughts I'd like to share. This is actually going to be a two-parter. This week, I'm going to focus more on what I see as like kind of negative aspects, results stemming from the election this year. Next week, I'm going to focus more on the positives, or at least kind of reasons I think there's still some hope for the future. If I'm honest, I feel like there's a whole lot more that I could talk about that's negative than there is positive. But really, I think the biggest problems that came about as a result of this election is that, first off, people got way too heated up and in a tizzy over something that ultimately shouldn't be that big of a deal. I mean, yes, I realize in terms of electing one particular person, the president is by far the most important. But the president should not have that much power over the entire political system to the extent that they'd be able to do pretty much anything that they want. That's not how our laws are set up, certainly not how they're supposed to be set up. I think it almost showed us more about ourselves and just how divided we can be against each other when we're kind of heated up over something, when we're aggravated over whatever the subject matter might be. And I think that's the big theme for this entire year, is that people are getting up in arms over these things that really should not be that big of a deal, whether it's, kneeling for the national anthem, or, electing the next president, or, other things that have happened. Heck, a gorilla dying in the zoo. People are getting way too overly reactionary to these things that really that should not be that significant. I think just what came out of the people of this country, the attitudes that we showed toward each other as a result of this whole process, is probably one of, if not the worst thing that came out of this election. The other thing that I think is a big negative that this whole election season has revealed to us is that our current political system, as it stands, is not going to keep us going for much longer. At least, I don't think it is. Because, first off, it's helping to divide us against each other. Secondly, it's, not really even trying to serve the people anymore. The fact that, for one, it makes it seem like there are only two political parties out there that stand any kind of a chance of having any influence on our nation, when that shouldn't be the case. That's not how it's supposed to be. And then, just the candidates that we were left with, honestly, I feel like was a sore misrepresentation of us in the US and how we want to bring about our future, where we want to go. I think there are a whole bunch of ways that the political system has kind of gotten away from us as the people, the ones that are electing all these officials to their positions. Especially this whole two-party thing that we have going on, it's really not helping us. And one of the worst aspects, I think, of it right now is that the Republican Party has essentially complete control of the entirety of Congress and the president. So, I'm not saying the Republican Party has control of Donald Trump, because I think we've all figured out he can't really be controlled. But in terms of the Republican Party, or at least the Republican nominee being the one in the office of president, in addition to having the majority of the Senate and the House of Representatives, I think it kind of defeats the system that our governmental laws were designed for. It makes it so that one group of people really have all the power if they're willing to work together, which most of them are, because there's so much blind party loyalty these days. That's another big problem that I have with it seeming like it's pretty much just two parties out there. Blind party loyalty is so detrimental to the spirit of our country, to the spirit of the people, to really everything that this country has been based off of, because it gets people just doing without thinking, it gets people voting without thinking, and it gets people deriding the opposite political party who, they really have the same basic motivations in mind of trying to keep this country a good place to live. But the fact of the matter is, when you're so blindly loyal to a particular political party, it makes you not able to see the good that the other party can do. Back to the whole Republican Party having control of the entirety of Congress thing. Essentially, anything that requires a simple majority to pass through Congress could get approved at the snap of a finger now, if it's something the Republican Party wanted to do. Which it totally defeats the whole system of checks and balances that our government has in place in its laws to try and not have such complete control of something. Yeah, so there are some significant problems that can come about as a result of that. So, my thought is, to all of you people who said voting third party was a waste of time, I think that we really kind of need to get a third party in there so that neither the Republicans or the Democrats can easily have a majority within Congress. And then they have to try and reach across the aisle in some way to get other people on their side, or to try and compromise, just so, they can get something passed. That's the whole point of this whole checks and balances system that we have in our laws. It's to keep people working together with each other rather than divided against each other like we currently have, with only the Democrats and Republicans being the significant, really they're the only significant political players in our government right now, in Congress. Those are the big things that I see as problems. There are others that I could get into, some that I have already mentioned back when I was previously covering the whole political realm during my Summer Hot Topics series. So if you want to hear more from me about problems with our political system that I think we have, go back to that video. Point being, we got some problems, and there's potential to be a whole lot more problems, because the person that we have elected as president not having a filter, number one, and number two, just being, to put it bluntly, racist, sexist, all sorts of other ist. And that's not what our country stands for. We're not a place that is meant to just bash people who believe something different. We're a country that is designed for people who want to get away from that, to have a place to live the way that they see fit. One other thing that I will say about Trump, it's already been shown that as a result of how this election went, there are people who feel kind of emboldened in a sense. They feel like they have more freedom to bash on people of other races, other beliefs, other just people that are different than them. And that, I think, is a terrible, terrible consequence of this. I mean, heck, I saw something on Facebook where even like kindergartners are pointing at their, Hispanic friends in class and saying that, they're going to get deported or something like that. Is that really the kind of thing that we want our kids to be thinking? Is that the kind of example that we want to set for them? Having someone who has expressed those types of thoughts as our president? Because that's what we have right now. He has openly and somewhat adamantly expressed his distaste for a lot of these minorities or even just various people groups. But I'm not here to bash Trump, because really the major problems that I see are more with the political system as a whole, and also just with how kind of violently reactive that we got during this election season. I'm just kind of hoping that all comes to an end and that my worst fears do not become a reality. But anyway, more on reasons I think we might have some hope next week. So, with that being said, that's going to do it for this time around. Like and share if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to see more of my content as I'm posting it, and stay tuned next week if you're looking for more of my thoughts on the election. And yeah, hope you're all doing well. I'll see you next time. Later.